Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my eyeshadow palette ranking video. So if you guys are interested to see how my 16 palettes that I tried in the month of October stacked up against each other, then just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to post handgirl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I like to post about 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. It just depends on what I have going on, but if that sounds good to you, highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post, and without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so as always, I have the same complaint every month. It's so hard to rank stuff. I hate ranking stuff. December is coming, and I know that I'm going to have to rank all of my eyeshadow palettes, and honestly, it makes me a little queasy inside. I've been watching my friends prep for those videos, and I'm just like straight up in denial. I just filmed my eyeshadow palette collection video, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna have to rank these palettes. But either which way, I'm excited. I have 16 palettes to rank that I tried in the month of October. So without droning on too much longer, let's go ahead and get started with number 16. So again, all of the palettes are really, really good this month, you guys. I feel like I say that every time, but don't get mad if you love this palette. I'm ranking Lunar Beauty. This is the 12 Days of Lunar palette. And the reason I'm ranking this a little bit lower is just because this color story is just not my favorite. Now, I did watch, I think I was watching Full Coverage, Manny and Laura's podcast, or somewhere Manny had mentioned like he was surprised that people were surprised about the color story because it's an advent calendar, so people didn't know what the colors were gonna be. And I think I missed that in his announcement video when he launched this, because he said that it was going to be a neutral, like more fall themed palette. And I must have glazed over that because I was thinking we were going to get some form of these shades in the palette. So for that reason, I was disappointed. Also, I think just because I have other Lunar Beauty palettes that I like a little bit better than this one. So overall, it's not a bad palette. I just feel like I built it up in my head to be something it wasn't. So for that reason, I'm ranking it at number 16. Okay, in 15th place are the two Pat McGrath 5-pan like holiday, what do you call these, quints? I think these are beautiful. If you've never tried Pat McGrath and you want something small and neutral, these are really, really nice. I was very pleasantly surprised by them. But overall, I mean, you're going to see the palettes in my top 10. They're amazing. The color stories are amazing. The indie brands like went for it. Some mainstream brands as well. So for that reason, I just feel like for the price, these were like okay. Would I rebuy them after having tried them out? No, absolutely not. And I feel like I kind of knew I shouldn't buy them, but sometimes these holiday things just get me, and I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to be better, but yeah, these were just, they were nice. I just didn't need them, I guess. Okay, in 14th place, you guys know this brand is one of my favorites, Nomad Cosmetics, but this Santa's Village palette, I really think this is a cute color story, but the formula is just a little bit different than what I'm used to with their bigger palettes. I feel like the shimmer shades or like the metallic shades are pretty hard pressed, so they're a little bit tough to pick up, and I felt like you have to really dig. And then as far as the mattes go, I wish there were a few more options as far as shades, because it feels like maybe you can just put like one matte in the crease and then a metallic on your lid. It's definitely one that makes you think, which I feel like a lot of Nomad palettes do that. I feel like there's like the more obvious color stories, and then there's the ones that you're like, ooh, maybe I should try this, and that's really nice too. But this one, for a 9-pan, I just feel like they have better kind of snowy themed palettes, so that's why I'm ranking it at number 14. Okay, in 13th place, this one is ranking at 13th place only because it's a smaller palette, but I'm going to put the SugarDrizzle Trick Roar Treat palette in 13th place. This is a very pretty little color story. There's some really beautiful multi-chromes in here. I feel like this brand is just getting better and better with time. They're really putting a lot of thought into their palettes and creating really nice, unique products. So I'm very, very happy to see their progress all throughout 2022. Can't wait to see what they do next year. I just posted a video with their Black Friday doorbuster, the Hypernova palette. I don't know if you guys are going to see this before or after Black Friday, but anyway, this palette is super duper cute, and I hope they continue to do more 6-pan color stories. Okay, in 12th place is an Unearthly palette. This is one from their Halloween collection. I'm ranking this in 12th place because of the color story. It does have some amazing, amazing metallic shadows in it, but the mattes aren't my favorite. Like, I really like this shade Herman, but then the rest of them are a little bit more muted. And I mean, I had like 4 Unearthly palettes to rank from the month of October, so one of them was inevitably going to be the bottom of the 4, and this is the one that I decided to go with. Okay, in 11th place is this beautiful Sigma palette. This is their collaboration with Diana Saldana. I actually got to meet her when I was at a Sigma event this summer, and she's just as lovely in person as she is online. This palette is, of course, a very neutral color story, but Sigma has an amazing eyeshadow formula. It's just one that works really well for me. I really like it. There's this really cool shade in here called Goal Getter, which is a really nice metallic eyeshadow formula. So if you're looking for something that you can use every day, but also can go really glam, highly recommend checking this palette out. Okay, in 10th place, we have another neutral eyeshadow palette. So this one is the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I really love buying these palettes each year, and oh my gosh, I would love if Huda did a colorful palette one year in this big format. I know she always does neutral palettes typically with these, but I feel like they get better and better every year. I love how deep and dark and saturated this one is, and it's just a great everyday neutral eyeshadow palette in my opinion. I mean, I wear looks like this every day. This is like my everyday go-to look, but every once in a while, a girl craves her neutrals, and this is like right up my alley. Okay, in 9th place is this gorgeous dark fantasy palette from Beauty Bay. It almost looks like I created this eye look with this palette today. I will say the eyeshadow palette I have on today is very similar vibes to this one. It hasn't been announced yet, so I can't tell you much about it. In case it is, I will link the video with this eye look down below. Otherwise, definitely stay tuned to my channel. This palette is beautiful. I feel like sometimes Beauty Bay just like looks into my soul, looks into my brain, and they know exactly what kind of color story I want. I mean, I recently did an eyeshadow palette collection video. I haven't posted that yet at the time you're seeing this one, but oh my gosh, like the Wilderness palette, the what is the other one called? There's like the oh my gosh, there's just like so many great Beauty Bay palettes. The Book of Magic, and then there's the other one, what is it called? I wanted Age of Opulence. I feel like those are like just like my color stories. I love blues, purples, greens. They're just like straight to my heart. So this is another one that's just gonna join those ranks as being amazing. I just really like this palette, really love the price point, so very, very happy to have it. Okay, in 8th place, we're gonna give it to the Cosmic Wanderer palette by Terra Moon Cosmetics. So this is their 2nd ever eyeshadow palette, as far as I can remember. It's stunning. I mean, the metallics in this palette are gorgeous. When I wore this palette, you guys were commenting about how much you love the eye look, and I really enjoyed it too. I do wish there were more light shades in this just to help like balance it out a little bit. I feel like you're definitely going to get like beautiful, beautiful jewel tone looks with this, so that could be a plus or minus depending on your preference, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed playing with this, and I'm so, so happy I purchased it. Okay, in 7th place, I had to give it to the Pat McGrath Celestial Nirvana palette. Oh my gosh, were we all so excited when we finally got some colorful mattes from Pat McGrath. I really enjoy her holiday palettes every year because I think they're such a good price point. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited about the shades in this palette. I just feel like this is such a great like one and done deal because you can do colorful looks, you can do more neutral looks. So if you've been wanting to try Pat McGrath, instead of doing those smaller like quints that I was talking about kind of towards the bottom of this video, I would go for something like this because you just have so much more options with this, and it's so, so lovely. Okay, in 6th place is another Unearthly palette. This is so strange. Again, this has the most gorgeous metallics. I just feel like it's not my favorite color story from the series of 4 that they did for Halloween, so that's why I'm ranking it in that spot. And then in 5th place is another Unearthly palette. I have Warms by Blood. This is a great neutral palette for a color lover and a great colorful palette for a neutral lover because it has the most beautiful like multi-chromes. I love a multi-chrome formula like this. It's very opaque, very shiny, very buttery, just like glides on the lids. And it has kind of like that putty texture to it. I don't know if that's like the proper word for it, but that's how I would describe it. And oh my gosh, it's just so dramatic, so multi-dimensional. So an amazing, amazing palette. I believe these are all like sold out on Unearthly's website, but I think she's planning on bringing them back. And I think she might have pre-orders open for all of them. So highly recommend checking out my video. I did 4 looks with each of the palettes and swatches and everything. So I think you're going to want to take a look, watch some reviews, and grab yourself some amazing palettes. Okay, in 4th place, I have the stunning Adept Minka palette. This is so beautiful, you guys. I actually did eye swatches with this palette, and I hope that I didn't scare so many of you away from this palette, but basically whatever like pigments they use to make this, since I was repeatedly swatching them on my eyes, they turned my eyelids really red. So I'd mentioned like just caution if you have sensitive eyes. I don't have sensitive eyes, but just be careful if you're thinking about buying this. But when I just do an eye look with it, I don't have any problems. It's just that I was repeating that motion, so it really hurt my eyes. But I did see recently when I was linking this that Adept had put a disclaimer saying there's no pressed glitters in this palette. And I've heard from my friends that know more about formulas and makeup than me that there are some formulas now that aren't pressed glitter, but they're like very metallic and give that effect. And so I'm thinking that's what this is made of, and it's considered eye safe and it's considered an eyeshadow. So either which way, this palette is stunning. I mean, just go watch my video. I feel like some of the shades are pretty similar, but still, like, I've never, ever had a palette full of such sparkly like shades before, and I just feel like this is such a New Year's palette. Like if you're looking for this just like out of the world metallic lid for New Year's, you're gonna want to get your hands on this palette. Okay, 3rd place goes to my favorite Unearthly palette from their Halloween launch. This is the Weirdos palette. I think this is such an interesting color story. It goes really well together. Again, the metallics are out of this world. Love this shade called Snakes, this shade called Feather. Blessed Be is a gorgeous poopy green shade. You guys know, right up my alley. I feel like this is more cool tone than what I'm usually into. Like I feel like if you guys laid out all 4 palettes, you wouldn't pick this one as my favorite, but I was very pleasantly surprised. So big fan of the Weirdos palette from Unearthly. In 2nd place, I had to give it to the All Done Up palette from Blend Bunny. Oh my goodness, this is such a pretty palette. I mean, I love all of Blend Bunny's palettes, but this is such a cool like fall palette in its own right. And I love that she did this shade Shine. It's like a duochrome green iridescent shade. It's so fun and different. And I hope they do more palettes with shades like this because they have so many different formulas and shades within their existing palettes. And I know they did a highlighter palette, so technically you could use those shades on your lids or as an inner corner, but I love that she added that like iridescent shade in this palette. Okay, you guys, the star of the show, in 1st place, I just gave both of these number 1 because I can't pick. They're so good. I just don't know how Oden's Eye like tops themselves with these color stories. And listen, people were coming up with all kinds of reasons, all kinds of things that they didn't want to get these palettes. And I literally saw a comment, you guys. Somebody was like, how can Oden's Eye advertise as a Swedish brand? They're made in China. They're a Chinese brand. And I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. Like, there's a lot of US-based companies that manufacture in China. That doesn't make them a Chinese company. Like, that's not how it works. So anyway, I just thought that was a very ignorant comment. I'm not gonna lie. I love Oden's Eye. These are probably the best palettes they've launched. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Hella palette is bae, but these two, oh, they're so good. The metallics are stunning. There's multi-chromes in here. The mattes are beautiful. I just love both of these color stories. Also, I mean, how can anyone be mad about palettes that celebrate the holiday season? I know not everybody celebrates Christmas. I know not the whole world does. Somebody that does celebrate, I love these. I love these. I'm so sad for people that didn't get to buy them. But, I mean, it's not like they sold out in a day. So, you know, people did have the chance to get them. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so glad I have them. They're so beautiful. I will be cherishing these palettes forever and ever and ever because they're so, so good. So anyway, that is my number one, or technically two of my number ones for October. I just had to. They're so gorgeous. That is everything for my October palette ranking video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so, so much for spending some time with me. Let me know what was your favorite palette of October. You guys know I'm nosy. I love chatting to you in the comments, and I will see you in another new video very, very soon. Bye!